you ever been tricked into believing something that wasn't true? Hello and welcome to this week's Midweek Minute. The dictionary defines a ruse as an action intended to deceive someone, a trick. Now in stories, TV shows, and movies, a ruse creates an interesting storyline. For example, in the Mission Impossible TV series that started in the late 60s, or in the Mission Impossible movie series, I think probably every episode has some type of a ruse, whether it's a disguise that's been put on, or a place and a location that's made to seem like something else. There's always some type of ruse. In the Old Testament book of Joshua, there was a group of Gibeonites, an envoy of Gibeonites, had traveled to Joshua and company, and it was a ruse. It's recorded in Joshua chapter 9, and you can read about it there. They had traveled with worn out clothes, worn out sandals. They had packed along dried out bread. They had packed along cracked wineskins, all with the intention of, when they arrived where Joshua was, to make it look like they had come from a very distant country and had traveled a very long journey. And there's a revealing summation of what happened. It's in Joshua 9 verse 14, and it says this: "Then the men of Israel took some of their provisions, but did not seek the Lord's decision." Joshua and company had been deceived. It was all very convincing. They had sampled the provisions, they had looked at all of the situation, and it looked like it was legit. But the bottom line is that they did not seek the Lord's decision. Or said another way, they hadn't asked for the counsel of the Lord. So what does this mean for us today in 2023? Well, we live in a world today where there's a lot of deception. A lot of deception that comes at us from media in all forms, whether it's social media or news feeds, and it doesn't matter which ideology that a person, what news program it is, or which social media feed it is. There can be there's a lot of deception out there, and we need to be aware and not just allow our heartstrings to be grabbed in emotion, or to look at it and say, "Oh, that looks very convincing," because stuff can sound very convincing. The people presenting can be very convincing, and we can easily become deceived to join along with a certain cause, or align with a certain ideology. But we need to seek the counsel of the Lord. We need discernment in the world that we live in more than ever. And we need to do what Joshua didn't do in Joshua 9 verse 14, where he didn't seek the counsel. We need to do that. We need to seek the counsel and decision of the Lord. I pray that we will. That's our word for today. Thanks for tuning in.